Yo, what's good, YouTube? We back with another video, and today is just a simple recap of today's trade. Gonna mark out everything start to finish, but let's just get this off. No video yesterday, just I really saw no point in it. It's just unfortunate shit that happened, but don't really gotta go over that. So, boom, we're gonna start off with this daily low. That was the most important thing that I saw was coming into the day, we were drawing towards this daily low, and obviously I wasn't trying to target that because if I target that, then I'm not really going to get the craziest, risk to reward. So when I saw that, I instantly was like, okay, as soon as I know that the daily low gets taken inside of a gap, we have a strong likelihood to rebalance price. So that's exactly what I was looking for. And if you look on the 4 hour or the 1 hour, you can simply look at all of these gaps right here. So we had the fair value gap there. Boom. We also had 30-minute gap. We had this 30-minute gap right there. The volume imbalance right below it. So we had fair value gap there, fair value gap above. And then we had this has oh my god, we had this suspension block. So I can't even say it. So this suspension block was pretty much the biggest, draw of the day, because if you take the high to the low, the day, equilibrium, look where it is, resting right at that 50 of that gap. So that suspension block was either gonna, you know, let us get further, or it was gonna really send price lower. And if you look, it's obviously what we did. Sent price a lot lower, a little bit back into that weekly gap, monthly gap. So jump down to the 1 minute. This is, prior to market open. If you just look, it's super clean. Like we get this sell stop taken right there. Sell stops get taken right there, and then we get another initial move lower, you know, which was the fake real move. So the fake real move lied right there. So I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna go short, here. I'm gonna have to wait for all of whatever's gonna happen, and who knows if we're gonna even, go back short. We just don't know that yet. But I can anticipate, well, sell stops taken, sell stops get rated on anyone who went long right after this once more, and then, fake out everyone long. So everyone's going short now. So now everyone going short got a stop loss right there. So I took my standard deviation move, and look where the two lines up perfectly. So that's where I take out, where I put my buy stops at. So that's where I think market is going to head towards. And then if you line it up, it lines up perfectly with a high right there, here. So that's the standard deviation move right there. So scaling in this trade, once I see that, I'm looking for a shift in market. We don't get no shift in market structure. Look here, there's just no shift in market structure. But if you look on the 30-second, obviously, I'm looking at this as, okay, a 1 minute shift in market structure. Once I see that, I still want to see a fair value gap open up in favor. So for me, I see that early on this 9:30, fake move. We run a gap, shift market structure right here, like perfectly. And then, boom, you get fair value gap there, here, and you're long. So I got long in about 7:30. It was like 7:36, so just kind of find it right. Let's put it right there. My stop loss was right there, right beneath this first candle's low. Because mind you, I'm entering off of 30 seconds, so I have to make sure I'm putting this stop loss at the most like appropriate spot, because we didn't get that 1 minute open yet. So I'm targeting this suspension block, the 50% mark, and I'm also targeting this 50% mark, and I'll show you why. We got out right here, right at 871. So off of that 30-second, we went long. Boom. Super clean. You could have even waited for this pullback, one more move displacing higher, and then a pullback, and then you could have a stop loss like right there, which that would have been super clean. 22-point stop loss rather than a 48-point stop loss. But as long as you're taking your model, it's perfectly fine. So that's what I saw in the 30-second. Now for the 1 minute, we still get a market structure shift right there. The first swing high that we just invalidate after sell stops get taken. So we got an internal raid right there. That's liquidity. Boom. And this is sell stops right there. So what do I see on the 1 minute? First presented right here in favor of my draw. First presented. What happens while first presented gets open? Full fill. So you could have went long right there off this pullback right to the 50, stop loss right at the body. So boom, boom, 22-point stop loss. Like perfect. I mean, it would have been, that would have been amazing. And then take it to standard deviation, you know. So that was that. Now being in the trade, obviously we're going against so many different confluences. So once I see this inverse right here, this 5-minute inverse get closed through. Once we closed above this 50% mark, I already told myself I can see it's running way higher. So that inverse was another confluence in favor. I wanted to see us run and close above it, which that's exactly what we did. I don't know why it just keeps doing that. Just get rid of it. It's fine. So once I see that inverse, boom, we close above it. We get no retracement back down. And then first partial came off right here. So I put my first limit order right there. Where's that? All right. So that's where my first limit order went. I put it here because that's the 50% mark of the suspension block. So I'm making sure I at least take off, one contract, securing one, a winning day, and two, I'm going to secure, part of the bread that I already had on. So once we got up here and I secured that, risk fully went off the table, and we're just letting two contracts run higher. So once I seen us get into this is like a little blend. So we have suspension block and we have fair value gap. Look at that little blend right there. It's hard to see, but it's right there. So once we get in there, I want to see a full move. I don't want to see any type of rejection or nothing, gonna push us lower. So I want to see a full move running. So as soon as we got that, I moved my stop loss in profit to this candle right there, right on the 30-second candle. I let us run, run, run. I'm still targeting this, and then this candle did not want to make it, and then boom, instantly closed out. I'm like, you know what? That's it. I'm not gonna take 90, so 90 or 89 to where I got out 871. I'm not gonna take 19 points, so about like $50. I'm not gonna risk not gaining $50 more to then what happened, lose it back to this bullshit, So like, it's kind of just like where you have to have sound logic. Don't be greedy. If TP's gonna get hit, you're right here. Trail it to that last candle if you can. Once you get that full run, don't just trail it right here, trail it for no reason, not even here. There's no point. Trail it to that last candle once you're getting that full run, and also know why you're trailing it. Like once I seen we start getting that, we just get a little bit slower in here, straight displacement. I want to see this candle just keep running, and that one to open up and keep running and at least get to equilibrium, which was right there. So we didn't. We failed on that. Once I seen that, I'm fully out, and that's pretty much it. So if you look at this inverse, it starts getting reclaimed back in the macro. Boom. What happens? 1020, 1020, 1021, 22. Still respect. Boom. Respect. Pull back up to the inverse again. Respect. And we just continue to sell off. First presented. Look how we utilize that. Just super clean. We continue to use this first presented gap right there. And we do not We do not, what's it called? Use this gap as, you know, a reclaimed first presented. We just continue to use this, just kind of play around in it, and like that's why I'm not sure. I'm not even thinking about taking a trade anywhere in this, you know, hour time frame, because it's like you could take it, but probability is so low. This is low probability. This is high resistance liquidity. You're not gonna, you know, you're not gonna be able to perform. You're gonna lower your probability at, you know, your odds. So that's pretty much it. You know, I took a very quick trade. I was off for the day. You know, fairly quick. It was about 10 minutes from the entry, and you know, just some things I could work on. You know, my fill. I got eight. I got in like 736. You know, I want to get my fill down here. You know, having stop loss right there. You know, what about a 93 to 86? What about a 7-point stop loss with, you know, some pretty, you know, good size on? You know, that's the stuff I really do want to work on, but you can't always work on everything at once. You know, you got to get that conviction, and you got to work on your confidence while seeing it pull against, you know, your favor of a trade. But you just got to trust it. So, you know, that's all. I'm gonna wrap it up. Let me just show this screenshot real quick. All right, so July 23rd, 9:33, 9:33. Boom, about 10 minutes in the trade. Entry price 736, exit price 871. So about 145 handles, which, you know, that's pretty much, it's gonna give you profits like that. So, you know, trade yesterday, super unfortunate. It's like I got stopped out by literally a wick. If I just go in a 2-minute, that's all I'm gonna do. Just kind of go over it right here. Yeah, just a continuation type of day. I took a long right here. Get filled. Stop loss goes right there. Stopped out by a wick. It was a crazy tight stop. I only had $90 on, and I was targeting. TP would have got banged like right there. Had TP right there, so that high. So wherever it was, already know where it was, because it was just one of those days. Obviously, got stopped. Boom, ran in favor. I took, you know, where did I go? I think I took like a lower time frame, you know, short. After that, I actually went, you know, short here. I wanted to take another long around here inside this gap, but just didn't let me. Got full locked out after that, because just that's how my trading thing works. So, you know, that was the long yesterday. Just really, it was unfortunate I got stopped by 1 point, and then boom, we ran in my favor. It would have been a pretty significant day. But, you know, you just gotta keep moving and move on from that stuff. None of it really matters. So yeah, that's pretty much gonna be the trade recap for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.